Now recording.
Why don't we start? Welcome to the PPRC podcast. I'm your host, Rero.
I'm your
What are you, Chu?
co-host, affiliate host.
Oh my god.
I don't know, partner in crime.
Partner in
Chew.
crime? Yes, Chu. Partner in crime? You're my co-host. I could also just make you the... Well, by having you as the co-host, it also means that in the future, if I'm not available, you should be able to host one on your own. which I don't think you will because, I don't know. But maybe in the future. So today was, I don't know, quite a interesting day. We did your interview, and now that's been a few hours. How did you feel about that?
Mm, it feels like another podcast.
Yeah, it's different than the usual podcast we do where we just talk about things. Um, so the whole goal is to, I guess, give some insight to us as a player in the communities, and I guess for other people to find out about other people as as the Discord grows, and to, I guess, leave a mark in a sense. I also enjoy talking to you guys about your past. So I hope you had that sentiment as and it wasn't stressful or like a job interview. That said, interviewing is a skill and I have to work on that. So like,
Like the thing is, like I don't know. Like I do interviewing for half of my living,
yeah.
but it's a very different kind of interviewing.
Yeah, it's not like for a job, more like to get to know someone better.
Usually, like to get to know someone better, there's a two-way conversation.
Oh, that's one thing
The,
I should have
the interviewer has to somehow elicit them to go on their own. And I'm not saying that you did a bad job or a good job or anything, but that's just what effective interviewing is. It's to make the interviewee like
right,
voluntarily talk about themselves or about the topic at hand.
right, right. That's one thing I'm working on. Uh, effective interview
Yeah.
skills.
And I wouldn't say that I'm good at it, even though it's part of my job. Maybe because partially I don't even want to hear some of the irrelevant stories that people tell me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess they're just not that interesting.
Yeah, sometimes the way I interview is very focused in that I guide them to give me the answer that I want to hear. Which is kind of funny because that's not effective interviewing per se, but it's like, okay, I have an agenda that I'm trying
So
to accomplish and I just don't want all the other details.
you're a biased interviewer.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if that's good or bad, but you do you.
Well, being aware of it is, you know, already a step ahead.
Like, what if I gave you a list of prompts and you interviewed me as a potential, I don't know, would you change those prompts? Would you change the questions? Do you even care? What would you ask me?
Depending on what my goals are, depending on what I want to hear from you.
Okay, well, anyway, I hope you uh did not find the interview dissatisfying, and that will be released when I do not have an episode to publish, as a backup. Gotta build the buffer, right? Gotta build the buffer of episodes, so in case we don't have it, like I lose internet for a week. Oh no, I can still publish something?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I have to remake the podcast, account on Spotify and upload the audio. Everything on YouTube is still as is, so that's up there. But
So, like, is Spotify better or something?
it was mainly the storage. I was also exporting at like high resolution, so the files are big. On the previous
You
host,
don't need that. You only need really like, to be honest, if it's podcast, it's
yeah,
128 kilobytes per second is probably
yeah,
the minimum. 192 is good enough.
I scaled it down for the future ones, so it's really small, like under 60 megabytes or less.
Oh,
Um,
I'm not familiar with that metric.
it's just the file size for. It depends on how long we record. So if we do like half an hour, it's really small. If we do an hour, then it's double that. So
Okay.
it's just the size when it exports. So when I was exporting, uploading, it was like with the old one, it would be 300 to 600 megabytes, and the provider Podcastle, the free tier gives you up to 2 gigabytes of like shared storage.
Hmm.
So I didn't feel like capping ourselves at that. So by moving to Spotify, it's unlimited, and they have some other features. But I have to set it up because there's a 2 week delay when you to remake your account.
Okay.
So I think next week I'll do it or sometime this week. But enough of that. We were talking about your next game to play, and I think it was first one was Barrel Trauma. How much do you know about the game anyway?
How much do I know about it?
Yes, Barrel Trauma, what it means, and the game itself.
It seems like everyone is running around doing things, but not so much together.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like delegation of tasks.
So we're basically locking everyone up into a tin can, divided into rooms, and you think everyone's separated and there's no social interaction?
Hmm.
Sorry, I was blowing my nose. If you get the big ships, I guess it is more lonely. Um, you can do up to 16 players, so in theory, everyone on the server can hop on and off at any time they want to. And I guess for us, it'd be how many players do you think will join us? Four? Five in total?
Probably 3 or 4 in total.
So we can go with the smaller ships, and that should be slightly less uh, lonely.
Hmm.
But I mean, there are some. You have the roles, and then you have I guess the fighting, which is either inside the ship, using the ships on the guns on the ship together. Like you can't shoot all the guns at once. You need someone else to be on the gun. Or we'd be outside exploring, looting. And
I
because of
think the problem for me is like I have this barrier of commitment.
hmm, what do you look for in a game to be an ideal, I guess, what checklist do you need for to consider it? You don't really recommend games, do you?
No, I mean like there's not a lot of games that like blow me away.
High expectations.
Yeah, I do have high expectations.
The funny part about this game, I guess, one class you can upgrade to is you can be a clown, and there's some tricks for the clown, such as killing things with a hammer. I don't know. I could imagine Tony doing that. It's more
Like I
like,
guess if everyone's interested, I don't mind getting it and then playing it.
yeah, it's a in a sense it's a different format, and the time is longer per campaign. So think of it as there's a map, and we go from left to right, and there's like choose your own path, right? And they have stations, checkpoints, and objectives for you to complete. So you get to choose your path and go deeper. And so each play session will be between 1 to 2 nodes as you know, explore the node and go left and right, complete your missions.
Okay.
And then at the finale, there's a big fight. So it's not like the
Okay.
campaign, it's not like in Lethal Company where most of the gameplay is like the campaign is just work until you get thrown out of the ship. There is a definitive ending, and people have speed run the campaign like under 3 hours. So in a sense, it is one of the setting is one of the unknown environments to man, which is if it's not exploring in space, then you're exploring the underwater environment. In this case, it's both in space but underwater, but mostly underwater in the horrors. Well, I think that I could run it. It's just will it run well on my computer right now? Probably not, unless I get a Steam Deck or something. But
When are you thinking of going back to like actual gaming?
well, technically it's like end of October. I go back home to New York City, and I have access to my desktop. So maybe from there, but that's a start.
That means you almost have like an entire year to detox.
Basically, 4 months is about a third, so it's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be now. It's just something to keep our eyes on. Barotrauma is on my list, and to a certain extent, it is a mature game, in my opinion.
Okay.
The second game I want to sell to you is called Contain, and yeah, you are right. It is very rough on the edges. I was watching a YouTube video today where he was demonstrating the customizations, and I guess there was a hospital map where he was with some friends and they were taking out enemies or anomalies.
Okay.
I'd say next time it goes on sale, it's it's worth a look. I know it's been released in January 16th, 2024, so it is very rough, but some reviews do say the developer's been working on fixing it, and they have a roadmap. I think the randomization of the spawn points and maps and the extracts are worth for replayability. There's also single player, but I don't know. It's a combination of Ready or Not and SCP. I like
I'm
it.
not too much of a fan of horror, like SCP kind of game.
Yeah, but this one has guns.
I know, but like, still.
I mean, I can understand if you're going alone, but do you really get scared when you're with Dead Set?
It's not scary. I just don't like the atmosphere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of like, horror movies.
Well, I'm not a fan of movies either. I'm just a fan of I'm a fan of my friends' reactions to horror. It's like it's like I don't know how much you know about Lethal Company. That's like almost a horror game, but with all the silly things you can do, it's not really with friends. And then there's the other game, 6 Days in Fallujah.
Yes, I want to play that.
Now includes 3 new missions. Actually, I don't know how much that is true. The the YouTuber I was watching, he said what's his last video on 6 Days in Fallujah like a month ago, and the devs have gone a little bit quiet. I guess they're cooking their new update, but as of now it's a bit slow, and they're working on multiplayer instead of campaign.
But isn't the whole game PvE?
Yeah, it is PvE, but they're focusing on well, one of the promises was we're gonna do a campaign, like actual stories and but as of now it's just here's a mission, go do the thing. And
Hmm.
the other aspect was the procedural generation has patterns, and you can kind of tell over time the patterns when you get used to it.
Interesting. Well, I mean, people can only design a house in a certain way, right?
Fortunately, the price is oh, actually the price is $10 off now. It's 25% off, which is $30 US instead of 40.
It's still pretty steep for its current state, in my opinion.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're paying for development.
That's the thing I don't like about gaming development nowadays.
What's that?
This whole early access stuff. It basically removes all the risk for the developer and puts all the risk on the customer.
So because let's see, Ready or Not was in early access, and was the base price appropriate for you?
Mm, I would say it's fair.
Okay. And then after they went 1.0, they raised the price, right?
Yeah.
That's to be expected. But with this one, with 6 Days in Fallujah, it's more like price is kind of the same, or just too high, entry level. What would be a good price for 6 Days in Fallujah for you? Obviously, you're in Canada, so I have to be
20 Canadian dollars. But right now I believe it's 26 Canadian dollars.
20 Canadian dollars is like 15 US. Hmm. Honestly, that's the same price as Contain. And that's probably even a smaller team too. You know why I think they're justifying the price?
Hmm?
You know why I think they're putting the price is so high?
Why?
It's because they're trying to get money for when they interviewed all the other veterans. They'd hire them. Um,
Oh.
and maybe developers are in a high cost living area or something like that. Or that's just my speculation.
It's a fine balancing act. It's too expensive, people won't buy it.
I mean, even squad's like $50, but that
I
hasn't really
think
gone
the
down.
reception for Squad has been pretty good. Uh, yeah, I would play Squad if if there was PvE.
Well, it's only about the PvP, unfortunately, and and it's like an Arma competitor. Wow, the system requirements are pretty low.
Not really a fan of PvP games. It's
Not
like
anymore, yeah.
the developers are like lazy. They're using players as the other half of the equation.
Well, it's interesting in a sense because now you have to think about humans instead of bots.
If that's the case, then it's just a balancing, balancing on the weapons and the maps, which I guess, yeah, it's another task in its own.
It never ends. Uh, there was a Rainbow Six Siege video I watched where the YouTuber he goes through every single patch, and Ubisoft is like continuously nerfing every single gun to be more bland. So it's all the same now. Everything is nerfed and there's no fun. And that's a PvP game. because of balancing. All right. Anyway, back to 6 days in Fallujah. It's 25% off. What do you think?
It needs to go on a deeper sale.
35%?
Probably like 40.
That's pretty higher percentage for early access, to be honest.
Historically, it has only ever gone on 25%
Yeah.
or 15%. 25% for this past year. It first came out at 50 Canadian dollars. The base price is still 50 Canadian dollars.
Even GTFO is cheaper than that. But GTFO has free weekends now. A lot of free weekends, so they can attract new players. If there was a free weekend for 6 days in Fallujah, would you play it? Yeah, I'd play it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm reading one of the comments that says, "Do not recommend it for the price."
Steam is pushing this U-Boat 1.0 release. $9.
I played this free game. Well, it was free when I got it. Intravenous. It's a top-down shooter, and you could stealth or you can go loud, but like stealth is preferred. And I thought I would enjoy it, but then I didn't really enjoy it.
Well, at least it was free. So,
Yeah. The thing is, like, I just don't react fast enough on top-down perspective. I might
yeah.
buy some tower defense games.
Tower defense.
Yeah.
There was this tower offense game I tried playing a long time ago on a tablet. I forget what it's called. Anomaly, Warzone Earth.
Oh my god.
Anomaly Defenders. There's one called Anomaly Korea, where it's a reverse tower defense strategy game.
Oh my god.
Sequel to Anomaly Wars on Earth. It was interesting because the aliens had all these tower defenses, and then you just throw in like human vehicles to take them out, and you can choose a path. So you basically set the path, plot the course through the enemy to reach the objective. Oh, it was pretty cool. I don't remember actually beating it, but this was like 2012. Damn, 12 years ago playing Android games. 2011. Oh, it's actually on PC too. Let me see.
Contraband police.
Wow,
Hell,
it's
that
$1. It's it's $1.
what's $1?
Anomaly Warzone Earth. 89%
No,
on sale.
Warzone.
Unfortunately, it's single player and Destiny owns it.
That looks terrible.
for for mobile graphics, it was pretty good, man. You got 9 out of 10 Destructoid, 8.5 out of 10 on GameSpot, out of 10 on IGN, and those metrics mean nothing. I think it had some good music. It had a story campaign. Huh. Yeah, they ported it over to Steam like 2 years later. Yeah, cutscenes. Damn. Anyway, back to your top-down shooter. Have we played any top-down shooters? I guess Reactive Drop is one. Alien Swarm.
Is that really top down?
Yeah, in a way.
I suppose, yeah.
Until we turned on the first-person mod,
Right.
third-person mod.
I think I would play Alien Swarm again.
You would play it? I could probably play it. Let's see. Could I run this on... I could probably run it on my graphics card. My integrated graphics card. This review says hell divers before they were hell divers. Well, I struggle with Alien Swarm because I'm not used to top-down shooters. It's one of my
Yeah,
weaknesses.
I feel like top-down shooters require a lot of um, fast reflexes.
It's different in terms of how I aim because I have usually with like first person you can move your crosshair to where you think they're gonna show up or like head level, right? With top down, it's more kind of like
It's
all
like
over.
purely reactionary.
Yeah, you have to be precise. Oof, my laptop is hot. Today I've been looking into videos on the Steam Deck. Do you know what that is?
Steam Deck?
Yeah,
That's like some handheld portable gaming device.
it's not some handheld, it's the best handheld, and it's on the Steam store. Top left.
That's like you telling me the iPhone whatever is the best phone out there. It's like yeah, okay, fair.
Well, there are alternatives. It's just that Steam has its has the operating system pretty well done. Every other handheld uses Windows. And do you really want to use Windows on a handheld, like a mobile phone? Come on. So, Steam OS is pretty optimized for the games as well as the user interface. And so, the hardware is pretty good where you can actually play Helldivers 2 on it as well. Of course, it's at like
I don't know if
720p.
you want to do that.
No, some people are playing it. People are playing Baldur's Gate 3, beating DLC. They find it immersive, and because it's convenient, portable, you're like,
I think playing anything on a mobile device it just hurts my eyes.
oh, but you need. They have OLED screens, man. I haven't tried for myself, but from what I've heard, the OLED screen makes all the difference.
Hmm.
So I've been considering my next, I guess, gaming PC to be a handheld. Though maybe not the current Steam Deck if there was a sequel, a successor. Because the current Steam Deck is at least 3 years old, and so the hardware isn't as good as what the competitors have now. Do you know about? And it's also, people do say it's more comfortable than the Nintendo Switch. If you ever tried that.
No, I haven't ever played anything on a mobile.
That's not mobile, it's console. Have you
Oh,
never have you never touched the Nintendo Switch?
I have touched the Switch, and then I don't know. It just feels weird to be using a controller of some sort than a keyboard and mouse.
Yes, I would agree with you too. Except that I have also console experience, so I can adapt to controller. And honestly, I quite miss it with like I have this old 10-inch tablet, 7-inch tablet, and using the onboard, buttons on the screen is not the same. The handhelds also do a lot of tricks to, make sure the frame rate is decent enough. They have upscaling and all these other factors to make it a pleasant experience. And so it's come to a point where people say, why do I even need my desktop? You know, when I can just sit anywhere and pull up my Steam Deck for a good few hours of gameplay, depending on the game you play. So I've been seriously considering, I guess in a few years, a Steam Deck, and if I get a external GPU mount, I can I can plug that into the Steam Deck and get an even bigger boost of frame rate. So you know how your graphics card is plugged into your computer, right?
Hmm.
This would be an external dock for that graphics card, and it'd be like a USB-C plug. You plug into the handheld. It will switch to the using that as graphics, which is obviously faster since it's a bigger card and more dedicated. And you can also output that to like a TV or back into the handheld. It could be done now. It's just that that is the I think it's the some other. It's like an Asus. It's an Asus handheld for like $800, which is a lot more expensive than 650 for the 1 TB OLED. Ooh, 350, 340, 360 for refurbished. That's not bad, but at that price, you could probably get the newest LCD model. It sounds like a weird thing to do, right? You buy computer hardware so you can play games, but I see it makes sense because as computer hardware gets better, it also gets smaller, and so when it comes down to mobile devices like this and handhelds or laptops, then they become much more viable.
And for me, I just need a bigger screen and a greater reflex
Greater
or
reflex.
distance.
What?
Distance,
Are you talking about your current setup? So your
like
screen is
the relief for my eye.
well, I could recommend you some things aside from the bigger screen, of course. My friend bought another, I think it was like a second or a third 1440p IPS monitor for his setup.
Oh,
He has like a he has like one of the arms where he has one monitor vertical, the other monitor horizontal. So one's for like, reading vertical stuff. But that's because he invested so much into his setup.
mm.
What's your monitor, by the way? Just curious.
It's I don't know, some AOC monitor. It's a 59 hertz.
59 hertz is not a lot.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
If you
And
are
it's like
si
24 inches. It's not even that big.
well, maybe your next upgrade will be a monitor.
Maybe.
At least get something with 90 hertz or higher, because you play a lot of FPS games. You definitely see it. There's no doubt about it.
Okay.
That's the reason why, like 10 years ago when I bought my first monitor, it was a very cheap 144 hertz TN monitor because that's all they've made by Acer, and it looked great, at least for first-person shooters. And obviously that was 10 years ago. It was like $150. Now you can get them even cheaper for that kind of spec, or you can go for even higher resolution or better say like FreeSync for screen tearing, and or if you want like good image quality, you go with an OLED panel or IPS because TN looks pretty bad. So going back to the Steam Deck, that has an OLED panel, so it actually makes the blacks like the pixels turn off when they're black. That's why it gives you more contrast, and it also
Mhm.
boosts the refresh rate from 60 to 90 hertz, which is why it's pretty good for indie games as well. Why don't we talk about hardware next, then call it a night, since we're talking about it already?
Okay.
I think you have a Ryzen 2700X with like 32 gigabytes of RAM. I don't know if you upgraded, and more SSDs.
Yeah. And I put nothing on the new SSD that
Oh,
I
you just have it sitting there storage.
yeah, just sitting in there, just plugged in. And yeah.
Oh, and then you have a 5700 XT, I believe, graphics card. So
Forget.
technically, I mean, you just open up Task Manager, and it should be on the GPU, top right, on the
See.
Performance tab.
It says, yeah, 1660 Ti,
What? You have
1660 Ti.
you have a 1660 Ti? I thought you had a 5700. Well, that was your Ryzen. Oh wow,
Or the GPU?
the GPU, yeah.
No, it's NVIDIA GTX.
Oh wow, dang, that's actually you're getting pretty old with like dead set. He has his RX 580, and that's like 7 years old now.
Yeah, but like games are not that graphically intensive nowadays.
Well, to a certain point, like when I upgraded to my from RX 470, which is 7, 8 years old, to my 6700 XT, I would consider that the best card for 1080p gaming. Obviously, if you upgrade your monitor to like 4K or something like that, then you need better specs. But I would say you're due for an upgrade soon in terms of
Mm,
processor
well,
or graphics card.
depends. Like the games that I'm playing, they're not so graphically intensive anymore.
Hmm. Well, I
And like
suppose.
even if it was, I'm totally fine with just using the lower settings.
Okay, okay. Well, I suppose if you upgrade your monitor to something more, you know, because there's a difference between your current monitor and like the different monitors in terms of like monitors have gone pretty good.
Yeah.
Then you probably want to see how high you can boost your graphics card or settings at least.
Yeah. No, I think I'll probably get a slightly bigger monitor. My desk isn't that big, so slightly bigger monitor, more refresh rate. Yeah.
I have
But as for like the computer itself, I think I'll just leave it as is for another 3 or 4 years.
I'd say 3 years is probably the most you can do. Depends on the game though.
Whatever.
Well, if you want to
Well,
stay relevant. Otherwise, then yeah, it depends if you're playing like indie games and really small, lightweight
like
games.
I'm playing Helldivers on like most of the high settings, and it's still totally fine.
You're still getting 60 frames.
Haven't been measuring frames, but there's no stuttering.
What about the 1% lows? I guess you don't know until you track it.
I don't do any tracking.
So one of the metrics we at least when you look at the frames per second is you have the average, which is what we generally look at. So as long as you're hitting 60, it's generally perceivable. And then your 1% lows is, as you said, some stuttering. So every so often the frame rate will drop due to some load. Say there's like explosions, and if that drops
Yeah.
too low, then you can see that.
Oh yeah, I don't stutter at all.
Well, it might drop to like 40 frames per second, but it's only for like a slight blip. That's why. But dang, I forgot you had I didn't know you had a 1660 Ti.
It was a pretty good graphics card back then when I got it, and it wasn't expensive either.
Yeah, it's great for 1080p. It's a very good
Yeah,
entry level.
so it's lasted for a very long time.
How long exactly?
Uh, it's 5 years already.
Okay, that's pretty good. I pushed mine for 7 years. Same with like Dead Set. Talking about my current setup. So I have the 16:9 aspect ratio, I think like 24-inch monitor, 144 hertz on my bottom, And then also have a ultra wide monitor, 27-inch on top of that. So maybe I shared a picture. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Ultra wides are pretty good. Pretty good too. If you want more screen estate.
Yeah, the thing is, like, my desk is just not big enough.
Well, do you mean like put a? I'm assuming your monitor is like physically on your desk, right?
Yeah, it's physically on my desk.
I suppose you could also get like a monitor arm where, at least for me, when I installed my monitor stuff, uh, it came with like standard legs you can put on that's weighted down,
Yeah.
or you can drill a hole through your desk and screw a plate to the bottom, so it's less. It's like the desk holds it together, and that's another option. The third option is that if your desk is thin enough, you can clamp it to the back of the desk. That way,
Uh,
that way
no,
it's
the issue is that the desk is not wide enough to hold any more stuff.
well, this would be it will make your monitor float. So instead of if your monitor's not high enough, you can have it higher, so it's better for ergonomics. And um, I don't know. I don't know what your setup is like.
I also have like my work laptop on the side, and then the microphone boom,
Oh, that's right. You have
and then
a
my two speakers. Like I can at most upgrade to a 27-inch, but I think that's as wide as the monitor I can put.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's right. You use external speakers because you don't like headphones, and you have a work laptop.
Yeah.
Do you connect that to your monitor, or you just no?
Uh, yes and no. There's a KVM switch.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's see. How much does a 1660 Ti go for nowadays on eBay? Is it Ti Super or just Ti?
Just a TI.
Ti. Dang, Nvidia still has its value. Let's see, $52 bidding, $94 US.
Mine's is a how much RAM? There's
Six.
6 gigabytes.
Nvidia does hold its value for a long time. This one's like a
Yeah.
hundred something dollars, 130, $100. Meanwhile, my current graphics card has, let's see, RX 10 gigabyte version. Oh, it's around the same. But no, it's kept its price. 240, 250.
Yeah. I think I made a good purchase.
Ooh, open boxes is like 160. That's a pretty good deal. Damn. For the XT version too. Yeah, that'll last you for another year or two or three.
And then by then I'll probably just get a completely new tower.
You're gonna do a pre-built.
Mine is not pre-built. Mine was custom.
Oh, you're gonna do a full.
Maybe. Maybe I'll get a custom, but I'll pay someone to build it because I'm just too lazy to even try to learn something that I'll only do once.
What? You don't have to pay someone to do it. You can just ask us. We'll pour it out for you.
No, but I
And
have to physically do it myself. That's the issue.
oh, I mean, okay, if you don't, they have uh they have companies that can do that for you too if you want the warranty.
Yeah, there are companies or people that would be willing to do it with money, of course.
The other option I was considering for new gaming computer in the far future was, they have those small computers, right? Where it's like a very small box, size of your phone almost.
Like the ones that Intel sells.
Yeah, the Intel NUCs. Well,
Yeah,
they
they're
come.
expensive.
They've come pretty far nowadays, thanks to AMD, because AMD is also making good chips, and they come with their integrated graphics.
I just I don't know. I don't see the use application for that.
It's just compact, that's why. So instead of having a
Yeah,
big tower, it's a small thing on
I
your
can
desk.
see that useful for like I don't know if I was living in Hong Kong where it's like the room is tiny as tiny, very tiny room,
Yeah,
and my desk was equally tiny.
I had something like that when I lived in Hong Kong for a few months. Um, and then you can always put a external GPU. It's just a space saver, you know. Uh, Unfortunately, it would be very hard to upgrade, and there wouldn't be any upgrading at all. So, and it'd probably be like really hot
Mhm.
and loud fan. Well, you can do what my uncle does, and during the pandemic, he paid top dollar for his new computer because he only upgrades every 10 years.
I had mine in 2019, so roughly a year before the pandemic, which is very timely because things were cheap back then.
Yeah, it's only been recently that they come down price again, but now it's only going back up. Yeah, my uncle bought his computer pre-built um, from some company, and that was during when the graphics cards were expensive. And he doesn't even play. He does play. He plays he plays this mobile game. He has it on an emulator. I don't know. I don't remember the name, but he's gotten pretty good at it during his during the past few years. During the past year at least. Oh, but dang, if you're interested in the new graphics card, I could always recommend you a AMD card because I like AMD a lot. That's very competitive with Nvidia. Oh well.
We'll see what happens. You know, two
Yeah,
years is a very long time for tech.
exactly. Hopefully by then the next Steam Deck releases, and I'll be interested in that. Or there's a VR thing that's good enough. But if you see a good monitor deal, I'd say go for it. Monitor does make the very difference since you're looking at it for like long hours. I'm pretty sure
I
your
might just
laptop
start from Costco.
go.
Yeah, Costco sells monitors. They always sell monitors,
Oh yeah, that's true. Alexei did say he bought his monitor from Costco.
but they
Uh,
usually come in twos,
what do you mean twos?
like pairs.
What? You don't buy the
Yeah,
individual monitor in Costco? Just two of them?
they usually sell in units of twos.
Why?
Because it's Costco. Everything's bulk.
I never heard of that. Buying monitor from Costco.
Yeah, they'll package it as two in one box.
What? I'm sure you could just buy one.
If it's an expensive one, maybe.
I'm
But
sure
the lower end ones, they come in twos. At least that's how it is from where I am.
that is weird too. $220, 27-inch LG Quad HD? Is that freaking 4K for $220 IPS? What the hell?
Yeah, I might, I might buy a monitor, but the thing is, I have to freaking reconnect everything. Well, not everything, but like the KVM switch and stuff, because the KVM switch is resting on the base of my monitor.
Good monitors can go from like, well, I guess it depends on your budget. This ultra wide 57 inch is like $2,500. I'm pretty sure you're not going to buy that.
Thing is, I don't like. There's no need for me to upgrade the monitor unless my monitor dies or something like that. And then me buying that SSD was just because in case I like have to download a few like very large games, which never did happen.
Well, what you could do with SSD is instead of using for well, you can still use it for games. You can just use the Steam backup, and then that'll compress it to your drive. That way, you don't have to keep re-downloading all your games. Even for a budget of $200, you can get like a 27-inch 1440p curved gaming monitor. God damn,
I don't know if I
prices
want a
like that.
curved monitor.
Curved monitor?
Yeah.
I mean, it just gives you for more immersion, and you can get ones with a better radius.
Good for working though.
I don't know, never used one. I've only seen them in the stores because I have Micro Center. Oh, it has so many good specs.
And some
160.
like the thing is sometimes I stand up and walk away from my seat at the same time still watching the monitor.
Oh,
Like if
really?
I'm watching Netflix or something, I sometimes just like stand up and walk away
No, then.
and then like do some stretches or some shit like that.
Yeah, in that case, go for a flat one.
Yeah. So the curved one
I'm
doesn't
ass-
really work for me.
I'm assuming yours is like a 1080p.
Yeah, it's definitely 1080p.
Well,
Mm.
for $200 or less, this one's 1440p, which is increase in resolution, 165 hertz. Uh, it has some HDR if you care about HDR content, and FreeSync at Costco online though. I don't know. I say
And there's always a deal for monitors from Costco, so I'm not too worried about it.
maybe they have some good deals for Black Friday.
Mm, probably. But I personally wouldn't wait for Black Friday. I'll just get it if it's cheap.
Cyber Monday.
Well, I mean, like right now it's pretty cheap. But
Oh,
the thing is, I don't need it.
yeah, it's just more of a want. Well, they do say having a second screen does increase productivity for work, and I have found that to be true for my use case. And so, using my laptop is like kind of annoying. So I have my tablet set up as a second screen sometimes. You also have to be careful with the warranty and the build quality. I mean, I'm lucky that my Acer still lasts for, oh, it's been like 8 years now, and that's because I don't push the brightness all the way up and it's well ventilated. But you heard about Alexi's monitor, right?
No. What
He
happened?
he bought he bought a monitor from Costco, like 144 hertz, a cheap gaming monitor, and then I don't know, something on the board died. It's because of poor build quality or something like that.
Mm,
So I think he got another one or got replacements, and it's it's I don't know, it's a pain for him because he lives in Hawaii and his return policy is a bit different.
Yeah, electronics and Costco they have a different return policy, but that doesn't negate the manufacturer's warranty either.
So anyway, to conclude, if you did want a better gaming monitor, dang, you can even get it for cheaper than what I paid for my monitor. $140 gets you 1080p, 165 hertz refresh rate, G-Sync, and it's not like you actually need, or you can actually output the 165 hertz. It's just very nice when you're scrolling and moving windows around. It just feels so smooth.
Yeah.
The work phones and tablet they gave me, they go up to 120 hertz FPS. So that's actually pretty nice for when I have to use it, even though I'm not gaming on it.